What if I told you there's more than one way to silence the voice that beats you up after a mistake, a disappointing result, or a performance that falls short of your expectations? What if you could kill your inner critic with kindness? Hey, it's your pal, the Dancing Housewife, and welcome back to another episode of the Dancing Housewife Podcast, where we talk about the art, heart, sport, and science of ballroom dance. Today, we're talking about taming the inner critic. You know, that voice in your head that shows up after mistakes, setbacks, disappointing performances, and failures. We've explored ways to manage the inner critic before, using strategies rooted in cognitive reframing. But today, we're taking a different approach, one grounded in the work of Dr. Kristin Neff, one of the world's leading researchers on self-compassion. For more than 2 decades, Dr. Neff has studied how people respond to mistakes, setbacks, failures, and disappointment. Her research has fundamentally changed the way psychologists understand resilience, emotional recovery, and human flourishing. What she discovered has powerful implications for ballroom dancers, especially when it comes to navigating inevitable challenges, frustrations, and disappointments that come with pursuing excellence. Let's begin with a simple truth. Ballroom dance requires courage. We don't always think about it that way because we love dancing. But when you stop and think about what we actually do, it's pretty remarkable. We spend hours practicing, we invest in lessons, we travel, we compete, we wear costumes that sparkle under bright lights. Then we step onto a floor and invite others to evaluate our performance. That requires vulnerability. And wherever vulnerability exists, disappointment eventually follows. Every dancer experiences setbacks. Every dancer has bad days. Every dancer has lessons that feel frustrating. Every dancer has competitions they'd rather forget. Failure is not evidence that you're doing something wrong. Failure is evidence that you're doing something difficult. One of the most important contributions of Dr. Kristin Neff's research is helping us understand the difference between self-criticism and self-compassion. For decades, many people believed self-criticism was necessary for success. The logic seemed reasonable. If you're hard on yourself, you'll work harder. If you criticize your mistakes, you'll improve faster. If you never let yourself off the hook, you'll achieve more. But Dr. Neff's research challenged that assumption. She found that harsh self-criticism often activates what psychologists call the threat defense system. Think of this as your brain's internal alarm system. Its purpose is protection. It scans constantly for danger. Historically, danger meant things like predators, starvation, or physical threats. Today, however, our brains frequently interpret social and emotional experiences as threats. Things like rejection, embarrassment, judgment, failure, the fear of not being good enough. Sound familiar? For ballroom dancers, these experiences are everywhere. A disappointing placement, a critical comment, a missed lead, a forgotten routine, a comparison to another dancer. When these experiences occur, the threat system can become activated, and when it does, the inner critic often gets louder. Now here's where things get interesting. Your inner critic doesn't intend to hurt you. It's your brain's attempt to protect you. It believes that by replaying your mistakes and shortcomings over and over, it can help you avoid repeating them in the future. The problem is that what begins as protection often turns into punishment. Instead of learning from the mistake, we become trapped by it. Instead of making adjustments, we start ruminating. Instead of growing, we begin doubting ourselves. The mistake is over, but we keep reliving it. Have you ever noticed that after a competition, you can recall every tiny thing that went wrong, yet struggle to remember what went right? That's the brain's negativity bias at work. It's part of our built-in threat detection system, constantly scanning for problems, weaknesses, and potential dangers. It's not looking for progress. It's looking for threats. This is where Dr. Neff's work becomes so powerful. She discovered that there is another system available to us, the caregiving system. This is the same system that activates when you comfort a child or encourage a friend or support someone you love. Think about how you respond when your dance partner has a rough day, or when a friend forgets choreography, or when someone in your studio is disappointed by the results. Most likely you don't say, "You're terrible, you'll never improve, you should quit." Of course not. You respond with kindness, compassion, understanding, perspective, encouragement. Self-compassion asks a simple question. Why should you be the one person who doesn't deserve that same kindness? At this point, some of you may be thinking, but if I'm compassionate toward myself, won't I become complacent? That's one of the biggest misconceptions about self-compassion. Dr. Neff's research consistently shows that self-compassion is not self-indulgent. It's not laziness. It's not making excuses. It's not lowering standards. You can absolutely acknowledge your mistakes. You can absolutely pursue excellence. You can absolutely strive to improve. Self-compassion simply changes the way you talk to yourself during the process. Instead of, I can't believe I messed that up, you might say, that wasn't my best performance. That's okay. What can I learn from it? Instead of, I'm a terrible dancer, you might say, I'm a dancer and I'm still learning. One response creates shame. The other response creates growth. It's still cognitive reframing, but from a place of compassion. This matters immensely because ballroom dancing is a long game. Few dancers improve in a straight line. Progress comes in waves. Growth comes in stages. There are breakthroughs, there are plateaus, there are victories, there are setbacks. If your confidence depends entirely on perfect performances, you'll spend most of your dance journey feeling discouraged. But if you learn to respond to setbacks with self-compassion, you create emotional resilience. And resilience is what keeps dancers in the game long enough to become truly great. Now here's this week's Dancing Housewife Challenge. I want you to try something simple. After your next lesson, practice session, social dance showcase, or competition, write down 3 things. One thing that went well, one thing you want to improve, one compassionate statement that you would offer a friend in the exact same situation you find yourself in. Again, read that statement out loud to yourself. It's going to feel awkward. It might even feel unnatural, but that's okay. You're developing a new skill. And according to Dr. Kristen Neff's research, it may be one of the most important skills you'll ever learn. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's episode, it's this. The voice in your head after failure isn't always telling the truth. And even when it contains a grain of truth, criticism isn't the only path to growth. You can be accountable without being cruel to yourself. You can pursue excellence without punishing yourself. You can learn from mistakes without turning them into evidence that you're not enough. As Dr. Kristen Neff's research has demonstrated over more than 20 years, self-compassion isn't about lowering the bar. It's about creating the emotional conditions that allow us to keep reaching for it. Thanks for tuning in. If today's episode resonated with you, please click like, drop me a comment, share it with a dance friend, and don't forget to subscribe or follow me on social media so you never miss an episode. You can visit me online at thedancinghousewife.com, and if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes, I'd love to hear from you at thedancinghousewife@gmail.com. This is The Dancing Housewife signing off, and until next time, happy dancing!